I'm back with Steve Buscemi, one of my favorite actors, flat out.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for being here, programming this double feature. We just saw Al Pacino and Gene Hackman in Scarecrow from 1973. Here we are 2 years later, 1975, and we have Pacino with an equally talented co-star in John Cazale in Dog Day Afternoon. Cazale and Pacino and a third person planned this bank robbery in Brooklyn. But right away, we learned in the first 5 minutes of the movie that one of the guys literally quits the bank robbery in the middle, leaving just Cazale and Pacino there to finish the job.
Which was like a revelation too, because, you know, whenever you saw like a heist movie before that, you know, I don't think I've ever seen a character, you know, sort of get cold feet at the last second.
In the bank.
In the bank.
With a gun in his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pacino is kind of understanding.
Yeah.
Like,
what are you gonna do? He's got cold feet. He's gotta go. Yeah.
Stevie, don't take the car. But how will I get home? Take the subway. We need the car.
Dog Day Afternoon. Very funny.
Again, another very funny movie.
That
but
isn't
also,
funny. Right, that is not a comedy. Right.
Yeah.
So Cazale was in 5 movies, and his career cut very short by his death from cancer. And all 5 of those movies nominated for Best Picture. It's a staggering achievement. Deer Hunter, Dog Day Afternoon, Godfather Part 2, and The Conversation.
Yeah. And the thing that amazed me was I don't think I realized right away that who John Cazale was. I had, you know, when I saw Dog Day Afternoon, I was like, who's this guy?
And you would have seen it like probably when it came out, right?
Yeah, but I had already seen him in The Godfather.
And you didn't recognize him?
Not at all. I just looked at this guy like, who's this guy? Like, wow. I don't know when I realized that he was the same actor. That just blew me away. And I also read that Lumet didn't want Cazale initially.
Oh, is that right? Wow.
Yeah, he thought the character should be younger and different looking, and but I think because, you know, Pacino sort of insisted, well, just see him, just talk to him. And I don't know what that meeting was like, but after that, Lumet said, oh, yes.
And I'm wondering then whether it's because there's much more of a threat of violence, as you'll see in the film, from Cazale than Pacino, even though they're both robbing the bank. But you know, it's this low-key, but it's clear.
He's the truly scary character in this.
He's the scary character in the movie.
You think of, you know, the difference between Fredo and The Godfather. You know, he was sort of the inept brother, right? And in this, you believe it when he says that he'll start shooting up the place.
And Pacino never says, like, no, I didn't mean that. But he's like,
right.
He knows right then, all right, I got to keep an eye on the hostages, and I'm going to have to keep an eye on Sal.
I ain't going back to that prison, Sonny.
A lot of this movie's on the phone. Charles Durning is the lead New York cop before the FBI comes in. And Durning is, when is Durning not sensational? So they're on the phone a lot. Durning does a lot of yelling, telling Pacino to calm down. You just feel the mountain of pressure building and building and building. And all the hostages in the bank, which include, we talked about Penelope Allen.
Well, this is what I love too about the movie, is that it's an ensemble film.
Yeah.
Every character who's in the bank, Carol Kane and Sully Boyer, Penny Allen, you're just with them and you're rooting for them. It's a weird movie because you're rooting for both sides.
You don't have any idea what exactly you're rooting for, but you know when you're rooting. Like, you know, this is a beautiful film about robbing a bank on a sweltering hot New York day. And it is also, you live here, you grew up here, this is a New York movie.
Well, that was the thing, watching this, you know, film that took place in Brooklyn.
True story, happened in 1972. You'll see it right in the beginning, for the crawl across the beginning. This really happened in August of 1972.
And all the craziness in it and how Lumet captured it, you know, that crazy energy of Durning. And then when James Broderick character comes in,
the
and
FBI
there's like,
agent.
you know, and then things start to settle down and he's calm and the tone really shifts.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing film.
It is an amazing film, and let's watch it now. This is the film that gave us the line, Attica, Attica, Attica. We can talk about that after we see it. Here it is, from 1975, with a cast led by Al Pacino, also John Cazale, Charles Durning, Penelope Allen, and a host of other talented actors. Dog Day Afternoon. Back with Steve Buscemi, who programmed this double feature tonight. Not only Dog Day Afternoon, which we just saw, but Scarecrow, which we had earlier tonight, another Al Pacino film. Man, I've seen it 8 times, 10 times. I don't know. It never never fails to move me. And the connection, the humanity given these characters, and specifically what was a big deal, clearly. And you see it in that wonderful scene, the phone call between Chris Sarandon, between Leon and Sonny, Al Pacino. It's really something.
Yeah, I mean, they were depicting gay marriage.
With a trans theme thrown in, you know?
Yeah.
And the way they talk, and the people in the bank they're respecting of it even as they listen in on this phone conversation. And I'm sure the cops, I think there's some shots of cops
There
snickering.
is one, scene where they're in the barbershop and the cops are there, and one of them snickers. But I can't remember.
I think it might
if
be
it's
Durning. I think
Broderick or Durning gives them a look
like, hey man,
no,
don't do that.
don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah. You know, Lumet, you see it in 12 Angry Men too. Like, this is a guy who understood heat and claustrophobia in New York. You know, he liked making movies where the location and the external pressures were felt by the characters.
Yeah, because all of the people that show up outside, they become like this mass character in the film that sort of eggs Pacino's character on, gives him energy.
As many times as I've seen it, I did never recall that at one point the crowd mocks Durning and repeats everything he says to Sonny, you know, come on, Sonny, and they go, come on, Sonny, you know, and there's such, and some of the crowd's involvement was impromptu because the second assistant director, I think maybe the first assistant director, came to Pacino and said in one of the scenes where he came outside, they'd referenced Attica earlier, but the guy comes in and says, just say Attica, just say Attica. Pacino's like, what? He goes, say Attica, let's just see what happens.
Attica! Attica! Attica!
And the crowd in that actual moment got worked up into a frenzy, and it became this signature moment in the film.
And I think some of the crowd, at least, were not, paid background actors. They're people that just showed up because they wanted to see what was going on.
They're shooting a movie, shooting an Al Pacino picture right here at this bank in Brooklyn. It's such a New York movie. And you know there's going to be bloodshed. You know there's going to be some, if you knew the story ahead of time, you figured that Sonny survives. But when Sal gets shot,
it is a shock.
It's a shock.
I remember seeing it in the theater when it was playing and feeling shocked to my core, like, oh my God. And he's a character that you don't get to know very well, but he just played it so well that you just had such sympathy for this guy because there was something underneath that you just wanted the guy to be okay.
Yeah, and because he didn't hurt anybody, whether he
and it
threatened
didn't seem fair. It did not seem fair that he was the one that was killed. Not that you wanted Pacino's character. You didn't want anybody to get killed.
This was probably known by everyone, Steve, at the time when the story came out, but this is a Turner Classic Movies audience, and I think they should know it. I'm not surprised you picked this movie in part because it's a New York movie. You grew up here? You grew up where? Long Island City?
Well, born in Brooklyn, but then raised mostly in Valley Stream, Long Island, and then but then I've always lived in New York. The East Village through the '80s, back in Brooklyn in the '90s.
So the East Village through the '80s.
Yeah.
What was your job?
Oh well, I used to be a firefighter.
A New York City firefighter.
Engine 55. Yeah.
Yeah, and after September 11th, even though you'd been retired at that point, a decade and a half, right?
I did 4 years, so I don't consider myself a retired firefighter because I didn't do my full 20. I call myself a former firefighter.
I got you.
But there's something.
You quit to be an actor, but
yes,
but you felt this draw to.
I did because I knew that I would know people and who were there, and I just felt a strong connection to my old company, and I just. Like every New Yorker that I knew wanted to be there to help. I actually had the privilege of getting in there and, knowing people that could get me in.
It's quite something, and obviously I imagine one of the defining moments of your life.
It was, it's an experience that I'll never forget, and I hope we'll never have to experience again. I hope nobody will have to experience that, but also quite profound. And, this is something I always say. I went down there thinking that I could help, and I was the one that was helped. Just being with my company and witnessing the humanity that, of people coming together was just incredible,
Steve Buscemi, thanks
Thank
very
you.
much. This
Thank
was
you,
a,
Ben.
this
I
was a real
appreciate it.
privilege. Anytime you want to come back, talk movies, TCM, the door is always open.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Steve is done for the night, but the movies, of course, continue here on TCM, and they continue uncut and commercial-free, so stick around.
Next on TCM, High and Low, then Caged, and later, Ladies They Talk About. TCM spills the tea tonight.